Well, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to share with you my 2022 day hiking pack and gear loadout. This is the type of equipment that I take with me when I hit the trail, and I've been able to slim it down this year to get to a weight that comes in just under 8 pounds, which I'm really excited about. These gear items, as well as tips and just what we talk about today, will help better set you up for success and enjoyment the next time you hit the trail. All right, guys, so right out of the gate, the pack, right? That's gonna carry all the equipment we're gonna break down today. It's been for about 6 months now, the Mystery Ranch In and Out 22-liter backpack. Now, there's some great positives, has multiple stages of organization. It's a Mystery Ranch, so very well built, very high quality materials. It comes in at 14 ounces, so it's nice and lightweight. Does have an exterior water bladder or water bottle pocket, as well as an internal water bladder sleeve. So those are all positives. The one downside is not structured, so it's a structureless pack, so it doesn't have any rigidness to it. The way I carry my equipment, it's not too much of an issue, but for certain people in certain scenarios, you would prefer a more rigid, structured pack when you are doing day hiking. But I've really come to love and enjoy and trust this as we've traveled the country for the last year and going from North Carolina to Texas to, Idaho and everywhere in between. This pack has seen a lot of miles and it's been holding up well. Water purification, right? If you don't have hydration on the trail, you're in big trouble. Now, I use two different options depending on the environment. I have here the GRAYL Ultra Press. This is a 16-ounce water purification system that is bomb-proof. It's its own rigid water bottle, so you can purify the water, drink directly out of it. It can purify anything worldwide, so including viruses and bacteria and protozoa and plastics, all that stuff. So it's awesome. The things to note is that it comes in at a pretty penny, usually around like 80 bucks if I remember correctly. Sometimes you can get some deals, and it is pretty heavy. So if I'm doing lots of water filtration and I'm not quite sure of the type of sources I'm going to be hitting, this is the one that I trust and take with me. But if I need to lighten my load, or I know that I'm not really going to be hitting that many water sources, and I tend to carry the water with me a little bit more and I'm not going to be filtering as much, then I will tend to take with me the Cat9B Free series of water purification system, which is much lighter, much more compact, costs about half the price. And it's good for just kind of grab and go quick, top offs of hydration. The two downsides are that because it's so lightweight, you kind of got to baby it. You don't want to accidentally like fall on it, step on it, something like that. You could crush and break it. And it just won't purify all the types of different contaminants that the GRAYL will. Now, this next item I wish I had just picked up sooner, but I'm really glad that I got my hands on it once we started traveling the country and I was trekking in all kinds of different environments, and it's a satellite communication device. Now, there are lots out there, but when I did my research, I landed on Zoleo. I reached out to them. I saw what they had in not only their value and capability to the price that was offered and the features, and I felt like it was the perfect fit for me, and I've been super happy with it, and I'm super glad that they are a sponsor here at the channel, that they're sponsoring the content in this video, because I've been able to use this from backpacking trips in Wyoming where there's no one around, all the way down into like the Southwest and Arizona and Texas, to the dense undergrowth of Florida and the Carolinas. And this gives me a peace of mind and security for not only myself but my wife and my family, to know that we can not only just text and communicate with each other when there's no cell phone coverage. I can let them know I'm doing okay, that my wife can see where I'm at if necessary, but I also have this SOS feature that with literally the click of a button, I can send out my GPS coordinates to first responders. I can see that it got received. I can even communicate with them if I'm able to let them know what's going on, so that they're ready to attend to me or someone I'm with in an emergency situation that a lot of other manufacturers of satellite communicators just don't do. And so the value to performance and features have just been excellent, and I'm really happy with the performance that it's given me and my family, and the peace of mind that we have when I go trekking with the Zoleo satellite communication device. Now, I do have a promo code as well as a link for you guys below. That promo code will waive the $40 activation fee. So if you've been thinking about a satellite communication device, go check out Zoleo. I know you'll be happy with the results and what they can perform for you. Now, what about illumination? Well, what I have transitioned to this year is the Petzl Acticore series of flashlights or headlamps. This is a bi-fuel, and I got the version that does have a little battery pack in there that is USB rechargeable, as well as it can run on 3 AAA powered batteries. So I have AAAs with me as well in case the battery bank dies on me. So I have multiple ways to power this. It does have a red light as well as SOS blinking and many other features that I really like, and it has 3 different power settings, and it just seems to work really well for me. Having a good reliable pair of leather gloves can really help not only protect your fingers in weather change, but also if you're scrambling up rocks or down rocks, if you're having to work with rope, if you're having to build a fire or shelter, it just really helps out a lot. I use these mechanics gloves that are made out of cowhide, and they work really well. It has happened, guys. I've been trusting my Outdoor Research Ferocity, which I still have in the collection, as a great breathable outer shell. The downside is it's not super waterproof, and now having traveled the country, when you go east, there's a lot more rain, a lot more moisture, and so I needed an actual raincoat that was still pretty breathable and reliable and just wasn't what I had. And so I have opted and have been using now for a few months the Outdoor Research 4A2. It's a Gore-Tex coated raincoat that does have a breathable layer to it. It is breathable, but it is still a raincoat, so you know it's a little clammy depending on the environment. But it has full pit zips. It has shock gourd tensioners on the side, 3 pockets. It's got a great large hood. It fits my body really well. It has tensioners on the back with that hood, and has been working and opting really well up to this point. Now, obviously, Ziploc bags are your friend whenever possible. It's good to have a few on hand for different scenarios, but sometimes they're just not quite durable enough. And if you hike a lot, going with something more like this makes a lot of sense, particularly for, say, your wallet and your cell phone. I have the Magpul DACA series of document/electronic holders. These are rubberized polymer, very tough, really good quality, water resistant zippers that I put my wallet and my phone in, and it just tends to slide in and kind of have a little more structure than a Ziploc bag. You can do all kinds of stuff with this, and it does have some lashing points. You can make med kits out of these, you can do survival kits out of these, or just again use them for more like your personables that you don't want to get ruined if you were to take a quick dunk in a river or in a downpour. Now, these are not fully submergible, but would fight off any type of downpour that I've been in, as well as all kinds of grit and grime. So for those type of scenarios, these tend to work really well. So I love edge tools, and I think it's important to have at least some sort of a knife. I love carrying with me my Buck series of the 110, 112 Select. These are still made right here in America, and I like that they're pretty inexpensive, between like $30 and $40. So that if I were to lose them on the trail or when I'm doing something, it's not the end of the world. Then I also have a fixed blade with me, because a folding knife can tend to fail. If you're really hard on it, or if you had to do some sort of shelter building or fire prep, a fixed blade is a better way to go. I've recently been carrying the Tops Knives Silent Hero 4. It's about 4 inches with a lot of lashing points, and just really works well as a crossover tool. The main key thing for me is how lightweight is it, and are there lots of lashing points, so that I can carry it in different ways on my gear depending on the scenario that I'm in. My Garmin Instinct smartwatch. Now, there's lots of different reasons, and there's a whole nother video I could go into. Maybe I will at some point. If you guys want me to, leave a comment below. But basically, the reason I went with this is that it's really tough, and I love my G-Shocks from Casio, and so this has been holding up excellent. Good battery life. It gives me my GPS coordinates, as well as an internal compass, as well as many other features like my altitude and my heart rate and different things like that. That was just another layer on top of having a compass and a whistle, and those type of things, but also having my GPS communicator, now having also a GPS just coordination on my watch that allows me personally to know where I am. That's different than the communicator, because I can't communicate with anyone with this. This just helps me personally to know where I'm going, stay on track, follow along, just all the different features that it has that my dumb watches in the past just wouldn't offer to me. Ah, yes, the beloved fanny pack. I just did a video on this. This one happens to be the LA Police Gear Frunk Pack, ripstop nylon, nice and lightweight, under a pound. It's about half a pound in weight. And I like waist packs to have in the rotation for hiking, because it gives you an extra small pack to put some quick things that you want quick access to. You can either make into, say, a chest rig. I can modify this into a chest rig. You can run your regular belt through this. You can use the belt that it comes with. You can use your waist strap from your backpack and run it through there. And it just gives you an extra organization point that you know, you don't have to constantly be taking your pack off to get certain items out of. In my case, I will sometimes, depending on the scenario, put a sidearm in here. We'll discuss that a little bit more in detail later. But I tend to have like my little compass, my emergency whistle, my mirror for, you know, signaling in there. And I have been putting Scotch tape, if you guys can see that, on the mirror to protect the reflective portion so it doesn't get all beat up and dinged up and be more reflective. Now, next up is something that I think is very important, and it's defense on the trail. Not only from the four-legged kind of animal, but the two-legged kind of animal. Now, I would recommend that everyone should consider getting a can of bear spray. I have had this counter assault one. I make sure that the expiration dates are always up to date. This is good till 2024. And I have carried this because I have been all the way up to the Canadian border where I would hit trailheads, and on the trailhead was like grizzly bears in the area. You know, I would read on all trails, you know, like 2 weeks ago, I saw a grizzly bear walking across the trail. And I have been all the way down into the Arizona, New Mexico trails, where a lot of times you run into mountain lions and cougars and those type of things. And then I've been over to the Smoky Mountains where there's black bears on a regular basis. And so I would say, if you are going to go with bear spray, which I would recommend, make sure you have a holster and a way to mount it in a place that you have quick accessibility to it. On your shoulder strap, on your waist strap, on your backpack strap, somewhere where you can grab it very quickly. A situation like this can happen immediately. If it's in your backpack somewhere, it is useless. Don't even bother doing it. So make sure that it's quickly accessible. It's like trying to think that you're gonna buckle your seatbelt right before an accident happens. You don't have time to do that. It's not gonna happen. So, and if you've never used bear spray before, consider maybe buying 2 bottles, testing one out. Be smart, don't spray your face, don't spray a neighbor, you know, do the smart thing, but just see how does it work? How far does it shoot? What's the spread? How to work the trigger? How does the trigger operate? Because you don't want to be trying to figure that out in the heat of the moment in an emergency situation where you're trying to defend yourself with bear spray. Second to that is firearms. Firearms is obviously a lot more complicated if you're going to conceal carry, which I do have, and depending on the environment and the type of terrain, the type of animals that live in that environment, I will either carry my compact 9mm, often in my chest rig that we've kind of discussed a little bit, or in a belt scenario, you know, in a concealed carry format. Or when I was in, you know, the West particularly, I would carry my 44 Magnum on my hip. That is a Smith & Wesson 629, and that I felt very comfortable and more secure when I was particularly alone in Wyoming and Idaho and Montana, where I knew I was not the apex predator. I had my bear spray and my 44 in tandem to work together in a worst case scenario. So I encourage you to at least look into that, consider that, you know, where you're going to be hiking, what type of environment is it, and does a firearm in tandem with bear spray make sense for you? Now, first aid kit is super important, I think often overlooked. This little guy here is pretty compact, but I have quite a bit of stuff in here. Not only do I have a little boo-boo kit with antibacterial cream, as well as some bandages and band-aids, you know, those type of basic scenario stuff. But then I have a few other bigger things that maybe people don't think about. I have painkillers as well as antihistamines in case I have an allergic reaction. I have eye drops in case I were to get a particle in my eyes, because I do a lot of woodwork and different things like that when I'm out on the trail. I have a pair of tweezers, as well as larger things that you really need to know what you're doing, but I have a SWAT T tourniquet, which works either as a full-on tourniquet if there's a major blood loss, a laceration, but it also can work as a compress, as well as a coagulant that helps stop the bleeding and the blood to start clotting. Now, I know what I'm doing with those. You would need to obviously be trained in that or do some research so you feel confident on when and how to use those type of items. But it offers me a lot, and I can take care of a lot of scenarios when I'm out there. So how do you stay hydrated if you're not purifying water, or if you need to run in tandem with a water purification system? Well, I have 2 options for you. One is what I have been using for quite a while, and it's Source water bladders. I really like these setups. They have a lot of different variety. I've been using my 70-ounce model for quite a while for day hikes. Fits perfectly with this Mystery Ranch, as well as it having not only 2 different ports to fill in, it has a braided covered insulated hose, detachable points so it's easier to clean, closeout valve. It just really works well for me, and it's not super expensive. But hydration systems aren't perfect. Sometimes you don't seal them properly, or they can leak in the hose connections and things like that. And sometimes you don't even know until half your water is drained out. They can be kind of cumbersome to clean and dry and just keep maintained. And sometimes you guys just don't like using them. So as an alternative, there is hard side hydration, which takes your beloved Nalgene's and hard sided water bottles and gives you the opportunity to attach a straw into a hose, very similar to what you would use on a water bladder. And then you can use that hard sided water bottle on the exterior of your bag, drink from it hands-free, and then be able to take that hose off and go back to just using it once you get back to your campsite or to your vehicle and continue on with your day. So it's a great alternative if you're not really interested in water bladders, or you already have a good water bottle and you maybe just want to turn it into a hands-free hydration system. So in tandem with my medical kit is my little survival pouch. Now you can literally use a Ziploc baggie if you want. I'm using a VanQuest organizer that I've been using for a long time that really works well for me. But I have some really essentials that will help me on the trail. Now I can do a whole separate video on this, so I'm just going to run these down super fast for you just to give you a few ideas. But some main items to consider would be some form of an emergency blanket. I have a high-vis one so I could flag down emergency help if necessary. Some water purification tablets in case you just don't have the income for a water purifier, or you were to lose it or it was to get damaged. Multiple ways to start a fire with a Bic lighter and a fire steel, as well as a battery bank. I mean, we use so much technology, and your cell phone and or satellite communicator can be the difference between life and death. And so having the right charging cables, I have some duct tape wrapped around an old gift card, as well as some gear tape in case I get tears and rips on maybe my rain jacket or my pack. I think it's always good to have a high visibility bandana, so I've gone with red. You can do so many different things with a bandana. I always have a few booty wipes with me just in case, you know, nature calls and I gotta take care of myself. And then some form of a multi-tool. I have here a Swiss Army knife. I believe it's an Evo 18, I believe. And you know, something that you can have a couple different tools in is, I think, always a benefit. Leathermans are also a great option to look into as a multi-tool for your compact survival kit. So there you have it, folks. I hope that this video has been fun and entertaining, but also giving you the information that you need to help you if you're either a veteran in the day hiking arena or you've never gone out on a day hike before. I hope this video has just given you some ideas, some tips, some things to think through, and maybe augment your system when you go out there on those day hiking adventures. I invite you guys to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. I'm putting up content like this every single week. Check out the other video popping up. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.